Good afternoon, students. How are you?
Good afternoon,
Hi,
sir.
hi, sir. Doing good.
Right. I am just waiting for the others to join, and we have a bit of talking to do, and re SBS, and then see if we can do a bit of calculation or two. So just message the others and the selling for her on please, and thanks. Go and cool off. Have your questions because we have quite a bit to discuss. All right, thanks. All right, students, just a quick question. Have you all plotted your box and whisker plots?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Um, I started the analysis. By the way, before I do that, were you able to put in your own words the analysis using regression correlation that I did?
Not not yet, sir.
Okay, but remember, based on what I have done, you cannot use it verbatim, I'm only doing what I'm doing to help you. Any SBA that I'm marking and I'm seeing what I wrote, I'm gonna mark you down because you guys will have to have some variation, so to speak, to the SBAs, or else we're going to be in serious problems. They'll write us up, they will give us a basic pass, and we end up failing courses. So this is what I'm doing. I'm writing it, giving you a little heads up. So I'm actually doing the SBA as we go along. So the analysis that I gave you for the regression correlation, use it as a guide, put it in your own words, explain it, you'll get the mark. All right. In addition to that, um, I started the analysis using the box and whisker today, and recognize that I was comparing two wrong set of data, and I am livid. So what I want you to do for me, in the interim, I'm nearing home, but in the interim, I want you to just explain to how to go about the analysis using the box and whisker. This weekend we'll get a little break. This weekend is when I want to see the almost complete SBA so that I can mark, I can give feedback, and we have enough time to fix up so we can maximize the points. Don't make sense. I mark the SBA and you get 12 out of 20 or 30 out of 50, right? I don't want any group to get anything less than 40 out of the 50, all right? If you can get 45 and 47 and 49 and even the 50 out of the 50, hooray for me, make 60, remark it, all right? Now, what I want you to do for me, is to just lend me your ear as I try to explain something to you. So when you look at your box and whisker, we have our 5-point or lowest or minimum point or maximum point, Q1, Q2, and Q3. Q1, Q2, and Q3. Now, in analyzing the box and whisker, we can speak about the IQR, the interquartile range. The longer the box or the bigger the IQR is, the more spread the data is. When you have a short box, it means that the data is clustered together. Now, how does that relate to what it is that we're doing? Based on our data, I don't remember which is which, but I know the IQR for one is, for English, one is 15 and one is 12. All right, so that IQR is close, the interquartile range. Now, if when we're doing our data and the IQR is very small, what it is saying is that the data is so close together that every year consistently we are getting the same number of passes. That's what it would mean. When you're comparing both, because we're doing a comparison of the performance of males and females, so of course, our title needs to be amended somewhat. When we're looking at that comparison, you will recognize that the IQR 12, 15, there is not much of a difference between 12 and 15. It's almost alike. I mean, yes, we know that the lengths are different, but it's not great in difference, so to speak. When I was doing the analysis, as I told you, I was comparing one math and one English erroneously. But we have to look at the whiskers also. Is the whisker long enough? Is it short enough? Is it that the Q2 is exactly halfway for the box? If that is the case, we can say that our data is symmetrical, right? If Q2 is tending to one side, we can say that the data is negatively skewed. If it's tending to the other side, we can say that the data is positively skewed, right? So those are some terminologies that we can use in order to describe our data. So we need to compare the boxes. As soon as I get home, I can show you the comparison, because I have also included another table with the comparison, so it is that we can see what is happening. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at your box and whisker, compare them now in the meantime. As I told you before, the IQR for one is 12, one is 15. But I want you to look at your Q2, your Q3, your Q2 for one and Q2 for the other. Is your Q2 almost dead in the middle? How can we describe the data? Is it positively skewed? Is the data negatively skewed? We're looking at the general shape of the data. So is it positively skewed? Is it negatively skewed? Is it symmetrical? One of the things we could also do is when it is that we plot the histogram and we find the midpoints, again, the histogram will tell us, indicate to us the general shape of the data. Is it positively skewed, negatively skewed? Is it symmetrical? So what we're trying to do, as I said before, based on some of the SBAs that I've been reading through, I'm gonna confess to you, I started reading through and then I stopped. Because what I recognize is I'm getting 19, 20, 24 pages of SBA, but it's just 24 pages of graphs without any analysis. And you can't put the graph. You remember the analysis came up to about 19 marks out of the 50 marks, you know. The analysis came to about 19 marks out of the 50 marks. So for each graph that you put in the SBA, we have to analyze the graph. So I've analyzed the calculations, the coefficient, correlation coefficient. That analysis is almost done. If not, well, it's done. I am doing the analysis of the box and whisker so we can go through it today. It is very important also that, matter of fact, Sharika is in class tonight? Campbell is here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need to talk to you, please. So what happens now is that you need to understand what it is that you're doing with this SBA, because the truth is, I am not going to be reteaching box and whisker. So anything we learn with the SBA now is what we're going to be using for the exam. All right. And by now, you would know that thankfully CXC pushed by the paper for 3 weeks. All right. So the aim is for me to get the SBA over this weekend, so that I can sit, I can go through, I can mark, I can say, well, group one, you got 30 out of 60, out of 50. You need to fix up this area, fix up that. So I can send you back to the drawing board so we can fix up the stuff. I don't want to get the SBA at the appointed time when we don't have any time to do the stuff. God has been good to us, and we need to give him thanks for grace and for favor and for mercy. All right. So look at your box and whisker plots. See how best you can do a description, and I will show you one in less than 10 minutes. I will show you what it is that I'm doing, and then we can go to the to our histogram and even to our, what do you call it now, to our stem and leaf. What I want to do with it tonight, one group did a variation and standard deviation calculation. I need to do one of those calculations with you in class tonight so that you can see how to do the calculation. Even though that group did the calculation of the variance and standard deviation, it was done, but no analysis was done, right? So we can't just put the information in the SBA without being informed from the result. I congratulate the group for going out and knowing how to do the, but then also need analysis. All right, do me a favor. Start with the analysis of the box and whisker for me, please. Whether or not you get it right, just start something. I will show you what it is in a few. All right? Sorry, matter of fact, I just remembered something, guys. Forgive me. Sorry to disturb you. So I sent you some videos today on how to do some of the calculations. Anybody had an opportunity to look at them? Watch the videos?
Yes, sir.
Make sense?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, man. And so easy the standard deviation, the variance and standard deviation is to calculate.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, man, not bad. So I'm gonna look at some of those today, but continue working on that for me, please. Anyone finish there? Have something that they can share with the analysis of the box and whisker?
Sir,
Yes, Matthew.
lastly, you did talk about something about positive and negative skill. You can explain that.
All right, I soon come. I soon do it. All right, let me just share something with you that is not correct because, as I said before, I was doing erroneously two different things. But just to give an idea, I should also do. All right, let me just read what I have here. So, all right, this is very rough. Comparing the box and whisker plot, the passes for CSEC English A between males and females, since the median Q2 line, since the median line plots outside of the boxes suggest that there's a difference between the two groups, but that is not so anymore. Let me just not do that. Go to this document and share here. Don't want to read the wrong thing to you. So what I have done is to look at the passes for CSEC mathematics. What? Oh, no. Help me. In Deviation, I think I am was convinced because CSEC mathematics. CSEC mathematics, okay, that's correct. Box and whisker, where's the graph? Okay. CSEC mathematics. So tell me, Mama Session, why is this CSEC English A is under mathematics? Male passes in English A. Male, male, female, female. Oh. Comparison of male and female performance in CSEC mathematics. Comparison of male and female performance in CSEC English A. Box and whisker English A male. Box and whisker English A female. All right. So this down here. So No, because that's a mathematics session. What is wrong with you? Female maths, tell me that male is up top. Very good. All right, so what's this for female, female, male, male, all right. We'll try the one right doing this. All right, so look at what I did. So that I can show you the comparison a little clearer. What I did was to, you know, one graph is bigger than the other. So I wanted the tens to be, the measurements to be lined up. So my zeros are here, my tens, my 20s, my 30s, my 40s. I am comparing my results. All right. Now what? We'll share my screen so that you can see both of them together. Can you see both documents together now?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. All right. So what I was saying is that, oh Lord, let me just go on to. Right, very nice. So I was saying that I'm comparing the box and whisker plot for English. So what I did erroneously, I had English up here, and I don't know, for some reason, I ended up with math. This math one down here. This math one I was comparing. So I was saying that the whiskers were different. So I have to change that. But let us see if we can just do this analysis right here now together, so you can see what is happening, because you may be required to do this for the exam. So I'm comparing. So what it is that we're doing for the SB is comparing the performance of males and females over CSET mathematics and English, and we're also comparing their performance pre-SBA and post-SBA. So we're looking at three things. We're comparing pre-SBA, the comparison of male and female performance, post-SBA, and we're also comparing the overall performance of the students, overall performance both in math and English of males and females. So of course, you know, we're going to tweak the title somewhat. Now, so what we're looking at now is, when we look at the data, we can say that the data, the minimum point of the data is almost the same. I mean, from here to here, is pretty much the same value. However, when you look at the what do you call it now? When you look at the box, you recognize that the box for the passes in female is longer than that of the box for the passes of the males. True or false?
True.
True.
True. Yeah, man. So let me just highlight it, and then we can put it in words together. So that's one thing. So what we can say is that there is a wider spread of the data. The passes for the females is a wider spread than that for the males. So pretty much from here, you can see that more females pass the exam compared to males, right? But guess what? It's not a problem, because that conclusion also corroborates what it is that we got when we did the correlation calculation. It corroborates what we did with the correlation calculation, right?
Hold on. Post SBS and post comparison of the CSEC English. Okay, so what kind of comparison with CSEC English A? There's a strong positive relationship between the performance of males and females in CSEC English. No, I say the same thing. There's a strong positive relationship between the performance of males and females in CSEC English. Let's go back to the data. There is actually 11, 12, 22, 25, 25, 35, 31, 36, 34, 44, 38, 40, 27, 25. There's a strong relationship. All right, hold on now. So there's indeed a strong relationship. So I agree with this analysis. And that is for males and female performance in English. All right, let's just look at the box and whisker again. The spread of the data is all right. Okay, so the interquartile range, for the female passes in English. What was the interquartile range? The interquartile range, this is 35, 25, and 20, this is 15.
Sir, for which one?
For the females, that would be 15, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And for the males, what's for the males?
12.
The males is 12? That means,
yes, language male is 12.
Yeah, so that means that I wasn't far off from here, so then, because I said right here, the interquartile ranges of the plot suggests that the data is almost equally dispersed between the passes for males and females. All right. So do you agree with this line? The interquartile ranges for the plot suggest that the data is almost equally dispersed between the passes for males and females. Anybody agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Come on. So it supports this point that there's a strong positive relationship between the performance of males and females in CSEC English A. So the data is actually cooperating the stuff. Can you see that?
Sir, repeat.
Oh, come in. From the table, and I need to name the table. The interquartile range for males is 12 and for females is 15. So this, we can fix up the construct a little later on, but that is consistent. That is consistent. All right, so what I was saying to you is that based on the calculation that we looked at, the comparison between the male performance and female performance in CSEC English A, I'm getting a 0.918 as a correlation coefficient. Now, as I said to you, the correlation coefficient lies between -1 and +1. The closer it is to -1 is a strong negative correlation. And the negative correlation is that, what it is saying is that there is no relationship between the two variables that are being compared. And I am unanimous in that decision because it's a negative correlation. But when the correlation is positive, I can say to you that there's a very strong positive correlation or relationship between the two variables that are being compared because of the closeness to 1, 0.918, right? 0.92, 0.9, very close to 1. It suggests that there's a strong positive relationship. So what I'm saying to you, the relationship between the academic performance in CSEC English language, males and females compared, they perform consistently well, the pair of them. So it's not an exact comparison, It's not an exact comparison, but give and take, I will say that both males and females are performing consistently well for CSEC English. And that's what it is that I'm seeing here, and I hope you're seeing also when we look at the comparison. The spread of the data is almost, I mean, this spread is wider, but this data looks like it goes up to 45, 44 thereabout, and this data here looks like it goes up to about 38, 37 thereabout, right? So you know, consistently it's fine. The minimum value for the whiskers are similar to both plots. However, based on the fact that the top whisker is longer for females compared to males, suggest that the females outperform their males counterpart. Right. Or got is it the quality of passes? Let us look. So females got 12, 25, 25, 35. Males got 11, 22, 25. Is what I'm saying? 25, then 35 and 37 and 31 and 36 and 34 and 40, 38 and 44. So we could say that the top whisker is longer than for females compared to males, suggests that females generally outperformed, GENERA, generally outperformed their male counterparts. But not SIGNIFICANT, but not significantly higher. Does that make sense? Can you see that? If you look at the table, one you see where, and I want you guys to help with the analysis, you know, because it's your work, you know. So 1 year the males got 11, females got 12. Females got 25, then males got 22. Give and take, three more females passed than males. In the following year, 25 males passed, 25 females passed. That year, 35 females, it went down to 27 for the males. Then 31 males, then 36, 40 to 34, 38 to 44. So if you look at it, it's not exact. So do you agree when I say that the females outperform the males? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right. But is it a significant increase?
No, sir.
Right. So this is what I'm saying. They outperform the males, their male counterparts, but not significantly higher, right? And that's what it is that we're seeing with the. Well, that's what it is that we're seeing with the box and whisker when we compare the two of them. So it's good that we have the plot the box and whisker in one sense. It's good that we plot it in another sense, but because we're comparing the passes in CSEC English with males and females, when we look at them collectively, we are seeing that yes, females got better passes than the males, but the females' pass rate is not significantly higher than the male pass rate. Anybody get what it is that I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So for females compared to males suggests that the females generally outperform their male counterparts, but not significantly higher. So I am saying this to you. That's my interpretation. You, when you're writing it now in your groups, I'm explaining so it is that you can have that explanation. I'll send this to you so you can look at it and then you can explain further. So females got I wouldn't even want to say better quality pass because that's not what we're looking at, but they have more passes than the males. But you know, say for example, it's like you will say, it's like somebody lives in a upstairs and downstairs. And I mean, I don't know if there's anything significant if you live in a two-story building, all right, or a house. Okay, let me not use that. So somebody may say, oh, I have an iPhone and I may say that I have an Android. Is there anything significantly greater with you having an iPhone and me having an Android? Maybe, maybe not. Can you store the information to your cell phone? Yes, you can. Maybe the iPhone keep a better charge than the Android. Maybe not. One of the things is that if the iPhone is stolen, it can be tracked. The Android can also be tracked. So, you know, and then it's about, sir, come on, it's cheese to chalk. The iPhone is a better quality phone. Yeah, it's a better quality phone. But how much more in the quality scale is the iPhone compared to the Samsung A50 or the Samsung Note, the Galaxy Note? You tell me, is there any significant out of a Galaxy or an iPhone? Which one do you think is better?
iPhone.
iPhone, and why?
Because I have one.
Ah!
But
Not a
number
good
two on charge every 5 minutes.
These so you play rough all the time? But that's the point I'm making too, right? So because the iPhone has so many programs running in the background, it drains the battery, and then the Galaxy may stay a little longer in shop. So you know it has its pluses and minuses, right? So what we're trying to do is just to do this sort of comparison. So this piece here is also almost done-ish, all right? We need to read over and just make sure that the tense them correct and everything. I put this right here because when we are doing the SBAs, as I said before, God has been very good, and we need to drop a word of prayer in class tonight. Please remind me at the end of the class, just thanking Him for grace and favor, right? One of the things that when we do the SBA, when they are reading it, the interquartile ranges for the plot suggest that the data is almost equally dispersed between the passes for males and females for CSEC English A from tables such and such. When we name the table, the reader should be able to go to the table, look at the table, and can see what is happening. Oh, yes, it's true. The IQR for males is 12 and the IQR for females is 15. We don't want, because we have so many tables in our stuff, we don't want them to be flipping through and don't understand what is happening. Right? So when we name the tables, and you notice each of my table has a summary, graph, and I don't put the number yet, you know, because when we finish everything, we're going to say graph 1, graph 2, graph 3, graph 4, and graph 4 box and whisker. When we're doing our table of contents, we're going to have a table of contents for tables and graphs, right? So that they can see what is happening. So if they want to look at something, they can flip to the SBA. We're doing this like we do our master's research, right? We're going to do this thing very good and just get the grade. So when we finish, we justify it, all right? And I'm teaching you basically how to do a research in science and how to use the stuff. All right, we need to fix up this first part. Let me ask a question though. Are you following generally? I know Matthew asked a question. I don't reach to Matthew's question yet, but generally, are you following what it is that I'm saying and doing?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's just see if I can fix up the first part. The first part of this is not correct because I was using two different graphs. It says comparing the box and whisker plots for the passes in CSEC English between the males and females. Since the median Q2 line is outside the box, it suggests that there is a difference between the two groups. And there is no difference. All right, so what we're saying is when we look at the median line, if this median was outside of this box, then this is okay, because this is what I'm saying. Since the median line plots outside the boxes, suggests that there's a difference between the two groups. But this median don't plot outside, it plots within, right? So I'm going to change. Everybody get what I'm saying right there? Watch me. Let me say it again. I want you to all get it. Watch me. Don't blink. What I'm saying to you is that if this median line for the male passes had plotted somewhere like here, so that when I carry it up, it's outside of this box, and this median line is outside of this box, it means that there would be differences between the two groups. All right? But this median line falls within this box. It means that there are some similarities. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so comparing the boxes of this box and whisker for that and that. Since the median line plots within, WITHIN, within the boxes, suggests that there is a, oh, sorry, forgive me. Congratulations to those of my students who were awarded last night. I felt like a proud grandfather last night. Out of order. A proud daddy last night. It is very encouraging. Last night I was actually in a class with my Calculus 2 students who, quite a number of them too were awarded. And when I look and I saw my students here who were awarded, trust me, it was a good, it was a darn good feeling. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. For those of you who did not make the award list, you have a grand opportunity this season to do very well at your exams. So even when you move on to university, you can come back to collect your award. Very nice, proud of you. But guess what? You see, those of you who were awarded, we are expecting even more from you for this round of exams. Please, we depend on you. And it has given me the sort of courage to say, you know what, we're going to maximize. When the man them read with SBA, the man them supposed to say, then why the teacher give them 49 out of 50? 50 out of 50 them supposed to get. We want to wow them. We don't want a little flimsy something we're going to give them. We want to wow them. All right? And we can do the wow over this weekend. So I can get the stuff. I can mark it. I can give you feedback as a group. And then I can say, no, we need to fix up. All right? So congratulations. All right. So it plots within the boxes, such as that there is a similarity, or there is commonality between the two groups. Q2 for females is 35. Yes, that's correct. Is much higher than that of males for 15. That is correct. For the period under investigation, concludes that a greater number of females pass the examination compared to their male counterparts. You see this? You see the statement up here, so supports this one down here. So when you look at the minimum value of the whiskers support, whiskers are similar to the board and that, and then I said that compares to the male is generally females compared to males. It's longer for females compared to males, suggests that the females generally outperform their males counterpart. This statement here supports this one up here to say that Q2 for that is that concludes that a greater number of females pass the examination compared to their male counterparts. Interestingly, the maximum point on the plot for male passes is much lower than Q2 for the female passes. That's not correct. You know why it's not correct? Because that statement was when I was using the English. So let me read that again. The maximum point on the plot for male here so is much lower than Q2. That is not true because the maximum point is higher than Q2. So there's nothing interesting about this. Go away. And guess what? Any questions? There's one other thing that I need to show you. And but any questions so far?
No, sir.
All right. So do me a favor. I want, as I said before, you know, this exercise is not just me going through the stuff and doing it. And mute for me, please. Mute. Thank you. That for me. Oh, sorry, I didn't I think we see message. Yes, miss, trust me, proud of them. Matthew, what do you mean by social status? I don't know.
So when they talk about iPhone business.
Oh, agreed here. Agreed, yeah, man. Trust me, the banger do the same thing. Answer yes, no, and send message the same way. You know, funny enough, as we talk about that, I remember before we had that burst of BlackBerry, you guys would have been maybe in high school when we had this burst of BlackBerry. If you don't have a BlackBerry phone, you're not saying anything. Well, I had a BlackBerry before that burst of BlackBerry things came in, but my BlackBerry was a big phone, and my students used to laugh at me, and you know, they would say, but my phone could go on the internet, and I had a big screen. I could see a lot of things. I could read my emails, and which is why I love the big screen phones, because I can read my emails and I can, you know, a business stuff type of phone. And when I was held up at gunpoint and it was taken away from me, you know, I said, Virgin, you want the phone? Go with the phone. I mean, just as I get it, I can get another one. Go with it. Right? But of course, you know, I was take the phone and take the phone and car. So we said, go with it. Have a nice day. See, I'm alive. I may have another car. I may have another phone. So it don't mean nothing to me. My students were saying, sir, what kind of phone? I said, it's a BlackBerry. It may not be. Those days, a curve was saying something. I said, it may not be as curvyless as your phone, but guess what? It was still a BlackBerry. It was still a BlackBerry. So whether or not you have the latest BMW, the mere fact that you have a BMW, you have a BMW. It could be an old BMW, but it's still a BMW owner. And I don't care if it is going to be an old one or a new one, but I know God is going to bless me with a BMW because that's my go-to car. All right. So yes, Matthew, status. Kimmy, leave me alone. Sure. Right. But yeah, man, I'll just say, all right. There's one other thing I need to show you, but I want to give you an opportunity to meet in your groups. I want to give you an opportunity to meet in your groups. And I heard Taniel when she said that they didn't get an opportunity to do the review of the, we call it, of the calculations. You know what I'm talking about. The correlation coefficient, what I sent off to you. So what I want to do, I want to create a space so that you guys can start writing. But it's I keep telling them that I'm not seeing the breakout rooms, and I keep telling them that I'm not seeing it. Oh, I know why. Let me just check to see that. And that's why I'm not seeing it, because I didn't claim host. All right, let me just claim the host for this meeting so that I can create some breakout rooms so that you can join in your groups. Oh Lord, Father, help me. Let me just claim host here so that I can give you, I'm going to give you, what time is it now? 6:45. I'm going to give you about 6:45, 7:45, no, 6:45. I'm going to give you until about 7:30. Okay, I'm going to give you until about 7:30, so you can meet in your groups. 848, so that you can okay, great. So I'm seeing the breakout rooms now. So I need to create 4 rooms. The participant choose room. Create. All right. So room 1 is. So this is how it's going on. You remember how Miss sent off the thing in the WhatsApp group? So the first 6 is group 1. The second 6 is group 2. The third 6 is group 3. The fourth 6 is group 4. Got me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
sir.
Yes, honey. Yes, miss, sorry.
+1.
+1, yes. So we will speak with that one when everybody else is gone, and then we can decide what is happening. Thanks for that reminder. I'm opening all rooms. All right, so I'm opening the rooms. So can you go ahead and select your group for me, please? Sharika is the only one that should be remaining, or should remain in this grouping, and then Miss and I will have a conversation. Please and thanks. Anika, Jacob, John Mark, Kamisha, please join the group. Matthew, Kimoli, Natalie. Bye-bye.
Sir, I'm not sitting on comment device or join which room or whatever.
Yeah, man, look at the bottom. If you don't say join room, it's open.
No. It just pop up like that?
Yeah, man.
I'm
All right, go to your participants list then. You're not seeing it? Natty, still not seeing it?
No, sir. Which part? Mr. I see. I did see it. It did pop up at first, and then me click on it, and then it gone.
All right. Group 2 is asking for my help. Let me go and look for it. Let me just join group 2 and then come back. I'll soon come.
Okay.
Natalie. Oh, she got through. Sharika?
Yes, miss.
Okay. You are keeping up. You're
Pardon
following
me?
what is happening. You're following what is happening.
Yes, I'm following.
Okay. Have you tried any of the calculations?
No, I haven't.
But you need to. You need to do all the correlation calculations based on the data set. Are you a part of the WhatsApp group?
Yes, I understand what was going on in the WhatsApp group. I went to messages.
Right. So you need to do that. I think they started the Friday, last week Friday.
Oh, I came on Monday.
You saw those messages?
On Monday, yes.
On Monday?
Yes.
Oh, you weren't a part of the WhatsApp group before Monday?
Yes, but I have electricity problem.
So you would still get the messages?
Yes, that's what I said. I saw the messages on Monday.
Okay, but all right. So what you do, just go through, find the data that Sir had sent. Let's see if I can assist you. So the post that he did, post 6, that is what is being used to guide for the data set. It is a data set, right? And then he sent out the data. Post 6 is the actual lesson, sorry. And then he sent out the data for to be applied. So you can look back and see. I'm gonna search and see if I can find them for you.
Thank you.
What was the easiest way to identify you in the WhatsApp group?
Share beer.
Or what I'll do, I'll just re-forward it to the group for everybody to see. And but look back, search for Cape Post 6, space bar in between all the words.
Repeat, miss.
Cape, search for Cape, CAPE, space bar post, POST, space and then 6. It's a PDF document start thing.
Okay.
Finding it?
Still looking.
So if you use the search button, it will come up.
Yeah.
Erroneously, I didn't set the time appropriately. So they're going to come back to the group, miss, because I think the time is supposed to be finished by now. Only 10. They're supposed to be coming back now, anytime now. Oh, in 22 seconds, it's going to close out. Shrika, I'm just going to recreate the breakout room and then Mr. and I will have a conversation with you. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right. All right, go again now, guys. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. All right, go again now. It's open and I set it for 35 minutes. Javier, you don't know which book to go to?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sharika, unmute for me, please.
Yes, sir.
Right. So I'm a little concerned, honey. Have you been coming to the classes?
Yes, sir. Sir, replied to your message. So the last class I came was the 14th of March.
Yeah, that's quite a while ago, Sharika.
Yes,
That's
sir. Well, it is out of my. Well, I couldn't control it because I'm having some electricity problems, and for the past 2 months, yeah.
All right. So do
Most of the time I don't have any electricity.
you also do biology?
Yes, sir.
But Sharika, I understand the situation. But
Yes,
you not think you not think it would have been nice way to call the teacher and tell the teacher XYZ? Talk truth.
yes, sir. I should have done that.
Yeah, because to be honest with you, I thought you dropped out because I have not seen you. Miss didn't even know who she was talking to because we check the participants list and we don't see you. It's 2 months. It's 2 months almost in Sharika. We don't see you, honey bunches. Talk the truth.
Yes, sir, it's true.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Because I'm saying to myself, no, sir, this can't be right. All right, do me a favor. I'm gonna ask you to join join room 1 for now, and then join room 1 for now, and then we can have conversations with them. All right. So join room 1. I'm gonna join room 1 and let them know that you're coming. All right.
Okay, sir.
Cool.
Chanel, is everything okay?
Miss, I just came in. I'm not sure where to go.
Okay. Okay, this is what is happening now. We're having breakout session with you should be working with your group. So as per the listing which was shared, so the first 6 is group 1, second 6 group 2, and so forth. So which group are you? So breakout sessions have been created. So click on the breakout room
Okay.
and select the room that you should be in.
Okay, Miss. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss.
I'm here.
All right. The data that you have, based on what you did, the box and whisker plots for, can you can you generate, in addition to, well, you did the box and whisker already. Oh, I know I needed to say something to you. So I did a research on the box and whisker. I don't know that site that you get the information from, Miss. They need to come back. They need to come on my class. They need to come on my class, Miss, because that's not how we do the box and whisker. So let me explain, and I need to also explain to the students. So what happens is, if we have an odd number of numbers.
But you know, sir, it's more than one site because the second site I saw, it says thing, and I said no. And I found one site that did the same thing, the same approach, it uses the same approach as what you are using.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
with
Yeah,
so
ma'am.
many variations there.
Yeah, and yeah, there are variations to this stuff. But so one of the things, well, how we are going to be teaching the students is, so if we have an odd number of numbers, we have 5 numbers, it means that number 3 is going to be Q2. Well, let me not use that. If we have 7 numbers, as we do, the third number number 4 rather, is going to be our median or Q2, and then number 1 and number 6 is going to be our Q1. Now, if we have an even number of numbers, of course, we're going to be averaging those numbers. If you're going to average a number, it means that our median is going to fall between the two middle numbers. It is only in that case, when the median falls in betwixt those two numbers, that we're going to be using all the numbers to the left of the data, including the middle number.
Mm-hmm.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, I follow what you're saying.
Right. But when we have an odd number of numbers, it is straight shot. We're not using that middle number as Q2. We never normally use Q2 because we're dividing the data. Right? So if you can maybe use the time now to do the histograms for me, just generate it same place in Excel, and then I can start the analysis and then send it off so they can be guided. Because what I'm finding, they had sent me something and I started reading and I just stopped because I was getting a little a little flustered because it wasn't being done. It's not being done correctly. So this is why when I asked you to do the box and whisker for me and then I analyze it, I'm just going to send out the analysis, send it out so that they can actually see the how it is that I'm expecting them to analyze the stuff. All right, because using the statistical measures, we should be able to draw a conclusion based on any bit of stuff that we use. Right? If we use pie graph, we should be able to use a graph and say that 50% of the students do this or whatever else the situation is. But we should be able, what most of them did was just to generate the different plots, the histogram, the bar graph, the pie chart, the box and whisker, and just put it in the SBA, and that is it. There's no analysis at all on it, and that cannot be it. So you have to be able to do this stuff. Even I remember many years ago, when I did my postgraduate stuff up UA, and then I learned how to use SPSS. I mean, I don't have a copy of the SPSS. When I generated my data using SPSS, each table I had to explain. So when I finished my thesis, I had almost 700 pages.
I did SPSS as well.
Yeah,
but,
man.
Well, it's now used more in auditing than in any other field that I'm working in. But you said the histogram.
The histogram, yeah. So what you could do two things for me. Danique, can you join your group for me, please? Join one of the breakout rooms and join your group for me, please. I think you're in group 1.
Okay, sir.
Right. So yes, if you could do the histogram and the hold on. So we have the stem and leaf, box and whisker, histogram, and if you do the histogram and the pie chart, miss, that would be it for me, because I'll just do 4 instead of going through to 5. And the only reason I wanted to do so many is because we have so many students in the group. Also, let me tell you what it is that I'm thinking of.
So it's the histogram and the pie chart. And
the pie chart, yeah. But before you start working on that, miss, there's one thing that I need, because I'm going to work on something. So I'm going to see if I can do the analysis for the other set of because it's 4 box and whisker, and I'm grouping 2 to compare for English and then compare for math. So I need to do the comparison for math. Let me tell you what I'm thinking. I just asked Sharika to join one of the groups for her to work with the group so she can get hands-on on what it is that they are doing, and then know for the SB, because I told you that I felt bad having 6 people in a group, remember? And then know to go put one group with 7. I said, no, I can't do that. When no CC is going to comment, and because they normally send a report to the institution about who is this. Dani, what's happened?
Mistake, sir.
Oh, okay. Hurry up and join the group then, Dan. Okay, right. So one of the things I'm thinking of, and I definitely cannot send out this recording anyhow, yeah. But one of the things that I'm thinking of is for her just to work, because they will get a good grade for the SBA, because I think we got a weak extension on the SBA. So I'm asking them for the SBA no later than
we are
no
already missing out that opportunity.
right. No later than Monday. I want the SBA so I can read through, so I can mark and give feedback, so that they can do the correction, and we can use all of next week to fix up, so that I can submit by Friday of next week. Because as I understand it from one of my team members today, that we got an extension. So I really want to do this so that they can all benefit and get a good grade, especially because the semester was so rushed. I want to put them in a good light. Now, I'm thinking when all of this is done, that I now need to go and rearrange a group. I don't know how ethical it is, and just put 5 groups of 5 people. So we have a 25. What do you think?
The drawback to that, though, sir, is that they would have been working together as a group, putting together one document, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that document which they're putting together is unique to that particular group. So although they are being guided by what you're doing, they already have their signature on their document. So their idea further being shown and say how to make their document unique. So I think it's going to be hard to pull them.
So just make one group have 7 then.
One of 7. They have been working from Friday. It's Friday. It's Saturday. You announce the group.
Yeah.
Sunday.
All right.
So they
Let
have
them
been
see.
working with the group, and I know that some of them even created their little WhatsApp group.
Oh yeah, man. When I went into one group a while ago, I'm so pleased.
Right. They do ask me questions outside of the class.
Mm-hmm.
And feedback and so forth is so.
So let them stay. So the one group, let's have 7 then. Because I already assigned her to a group to tell her to go join a group.
Right.
So one group has 7. All right.
They have to ensure that contribution and understanding is there.
Yeah. I told them.
1 month of information.
Hold on, miss. Here she comes. Sharika, what's the problem?
I'm rejoining.
Okay. Yeah, continue, no, miss.
Right. It's
not what we're talking about 1 month. It's not 1 month. It's almost 2 months of info. 2 months of info. Hold on. Amelia, how you doing? Amelia? Miss, when she unmutes, you can just ask. I'm going to step away for a minute, miss. Okay, she's gone.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. It's the only reason I'm a little lenient is because one of my heads reported her situation to me, so that's why I asked her if she does bio. So I know one of the heads reported it to me, but I never knew the name of the student. It was based on anonymity. So now that I know that it's her, I'm fully aware of the situation. The only disappointment is that she didn't say, "Sir, I am the person." She only spoke with the bio teacher.
Right. But it's not she alone, because even working with Miss Ferguson, I spoke to her to say that I can't come in this week because I know that she was going to go a little bit faster with this student, and with you asking for the SBA, the night before I had class, I told her I was coming that morning, right? So she said fine, because at the end of the day, she's having the same challenge. The same persons coming in, and yeah.
Yeah, it's rough, miss. It's a rough situation, but anyhow. Let's see if you can do the box and discuss. If you can do the
histogram
and the pie chart, I'm going to see if I can just go ahead and finish off this one, so at least they can have something to work with from tonight, because I know they have the group meetings. That much I can tell you.
Right. So do it as a group, as a whole.
Yeah. Similar to how the same way you did the same data that you use for the Right.
All right, sure.
Right. Ah, cool. Okay. recognize that you guys are back. Is it that you need more time or you had enough time to do what it is?
More time, sir.
Send me back in, please.
All right, no problem, no problem. Let me do it again. This is working on something else, and I'm also working on something else for you recreate. All right, and the option here now is to $25. All right, okay, go ahead. You can rejoin. I'm there having a conversation with a Tariq. I didn't recognize that you're not answering me, but I didn't recognize I was muted. How are you? Sir Powers. Tyreek.
Okay, so we're back. Are we okay now? More time needed?
No, sir.
All right. All right. I'm gonna, if one of this thing will open up, I just want to show you. All right, hold on. Are you, while I'm trying to find myself, are you, you have a better understanding of what it is that you're doing now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Somewhat.
Okay.
Kinda.
All right. So explain the somewhat kind of for me now, please. What is it that you're not too sure about? Talk to me, please.
Sir, I guess when we go more in depth and do the other parts, I'll understand more.
Okay. All right. All right. So, so let's share this screen, what I'm doing. All right. So I think this is it for now for the interpretation of the data. We've used box and whisker. We've used the correlation, the coefficient, and we're going to be using the pie chart and or the histogram.
All right, so the analysis and interpretation of the data, examination of the data suggests that there's an overall positive correlation between the number of males and females that sat the CSEP Mathematics and English Language examination before and after the introduction of the school-based assessments. Closer analysis, however, reveals that the strength of the correlation before the school-based assessment was introduced in English language was 0.97 compared to 0.827 after the introduction of the school-based assessment. This suggests that the students performed better in English language before school-based assessment was introduced. Analysis of the CSEP mathematics results showed analysis of the CSEP mathematics. Oh, one of the things I should tell you now is, so for your introduction, I don't know, people do their research different from others, but I see some teachers ask students to write their introduction first. When you're doing CSEP mathematics and doing your SBAs, did your teacher ask you to write the introduction first? For any of them, POB, POA, whatever, were you able to write the introduction first? Yes, no? Or I don't remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. Because normally, like for the introduction now, is the salient point for the introduction. From the most interesting point from my introduction, the most interesting point from my analysis of my data is going to be placed in the introduction. Why? Because it say for example, our data show that males outperform females in both disciplines that we're studying. That is significant because we know that females are overachievers and are performing much better than males now, right? So that point now will come into my introduction based on the analysis. So it's something like this now. We will talk about the correlation coefficient R, you know. R is equal to 0.970. That's how we normally write it. R is equals to 0.970. R is equals to 0.970 compared to 827. 827. Right, so something like this now. When they talk about R to be equal to 0.97 compared to that, it is a blow. What is happening here? It means that there's a strong positive correlation between the performance of females and males, and so something like this comes out into your introduction. So the reader reads this and gets very interested now to say, no, sir, we want to see the final something of this report. And then now, it draws the reader, I was about to say drag, but it draws the reader to want to read your SBA because your salient point is coming out. All right, so bear in mind. So we are going to be, and you have this data, so we can know over next thing is to look at our introduction. And now know what to put in there. So this suggests that the students perform better in English language before the introduction of the school. This is important. This is a very important point. Based on the data that we calculated, it suggests that from the study that was done, the results suggest that the students perform better in English language before the impetus of the school-based assessment, right? Compared to what is happening now after the impetus of the school-based assessment. Some people may say, no, sir, not so, because the students have school-based assessment, so they can get more points to go towards the exam support and so on, right? So when you present this data, it will want people to read your stuff. So think about that. Analysis of the CSEP mathematics results shows that there was a moderately positive correlation of 509. 509. Between the performance of males and females prior to the school-based assessment being introduced, right? The correlation of R, right? So this is what we normally write it. R equal this. This is what? 514. And this is also significant because it is saying that there's no difference really between the performance of males and females for CSET mathematics, right? The correlation of R equals 0.5514 shows that the correlation remains moderately positive after the introduction of the school-based assessment. The correlation indicates that the students' performance in CSET mathematics basically remain the same even after the school-based assessment were introduced. Very important point. Now, when CXC reads this information from you, them can't, I mean, when I'm marking it, I can't give you anything less than full marks. However, you can't write it the way me write it. We speak differently. If we write it how I have it, it's going to mean that it's 25 of us in one group. That's not possible. But just get across the point. Mrs. Henningham and myself are helping you for the SBA. I'm doing this for my own personal use too, you know, because I mean, I'm engaging in research and I can present this to say that, you know, we did one research one time at the college, you know, XYZ, and then I can improve on the research by getting more data, say 5 years down the line to see if it's, say it again? Yeah, man, yeah. Right, to see if we can improve on it. All right. So it says the data seems to further suggest that the school-based assessment did not necessarily result in improved performance in CSET mathematics. Very much so, because if you look at it, R is 0.514. If we use 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places, we end up getting 0.51 in one case and 0.51 in the other case. All right. So the correlation indicates that the performance in mathematics remains the same. So examination of the overall results, overall performance of males and females in CSET English A show that there is a very strong positive correlation. R is 918 case. I'm only fixing up the document now before I send off to you. 918.
Please save as it one.
Miss, you know, so karma is something, you know. Oh Lord, come on. I'm saving, thank you. So this suggests that the performance of both males and females were moving in the same direction. All right, and this is for the CSEC English because the values were coming out to be closer. When compared to their male counterparts. The data further indicates that when there is an improvement in the performance of one gender, there's also an improvement in the gender and vice versa. All right? Because you notice when males perform good in English, females also perform good in English. When females perform badly or poorly in mathematics, males also perform poorly in mathematics. So that's what the data is saying, right? There are several things that we can extrapolate from it. And even before I finish my analysis of the stuff, there are several things that you guys can consider, and I'm talking it through so that you can get what it is. There are several things that we can consider. We can consider that maybe the instruction for English language is much clearer in the teaching and learning process than for mathematics, right? For me as a researcher, I could say to you that we don't have persons who are trained mathematically to teach. It's like how Mrs. doing our math education training. You may have somebody who is trained in or not trained at all, may not have a trained teacher, right? You may have a training in chemistry, right? You're a science educator, but because you do maths up to Cape, you decide that you're going to teach CSET mathematics. And yes, you can teach CSET mathematics if you did Cape. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're not a trained teacher going through the whole pedagogical skills and know how to teach and how children learn and how to make the connections, so we can say maybe it is how, maybe it comes back to the training or the math educators in the schools, because you may not have as many math educators in schools because people are shying away from studying mathematics. So that could be one thing. So so I am saying this, and I really hope that you guys are making jottings enough. You can say for future work, and I'm not writing this because I don't want you to put my thing verbatim. For future work, there are several possibilities or several things that can be drawn from this research. One, it may mean that in the teaching and learning process, students are grasping English language better than how they are grasping mathematics. By extension, it may come across that we need more trained math teachers in the high school system. So it is that we can raise the level of performance in mathematics to where English language is. Not that we need more trained teachers in English language, but there's a disparity between the performance in math and in English based on what it is that we're getting here. We're getting a correlation coefficient of 0.970 and 0.827 for English language, and the correlation coefficient we're getting here is 0.51. So we can even say that governments across the region, because it's not only Jamaica we're talking about here now. So another point that you could make for further research, further study, is that governments across the region should now input more resources in mathematics education, so it is that we can raise the level of the performance of mathematics, right? One of the things is, again, from the research, is that it is showing us that pre and post SBA for mathematics, I said the same something, 0.51, 0.51. So it means that there's no significant difference in the performance of students before and after the impetus of the school-based assessment. So what may need to happen now is that more workshops for teachers who are teaching CSET mathematics, so that students can improve their academic performance in their school-based assessment and subsequently in the final examination. That's one other thing that comes out. And I'm thinking on the spot as I go along. And again, as per usual, find more interesting ways and making connections. Students will see the use of English language because they want to become a flight attendant. They need to know to communicate. They want to be a front desk operator. They need to know to communicate, right? English language is a part of us, but students don't see mathematics as being necessary. I was teaching my calculus group, not calculus live. One group. Oh, I was teaching a class on Tuesday, and we're doing simultaneous equations, a graphical method. Just as I showed you how to quickly sketch or plot a straight line graph when we were doing coordinate geometry, I was showing the student how to do it. Mr. Shand, how does this help me in real life? And I had to pause and show the student what it means. Yeah, drive from one straight road, hello, versus you driving from one curvy road, right? As I said, let me just pause and say this. There were 3 subjects that failed me in high school from first form, and it went up until, well, first form and second form. Third form, I decided that I'm going to conquer history, geography, and art and craft. Can't draw to save my life. No, so history failed me. Geography failed me. Art and craft failed me. Truth of the matter though is, every time I get on my report, I've never gotten less than 50% in art and craft. You know why? You have 50% for still life drawing and 50% for the theory of art and craft. If you become a can't draw, always going to get 0 because teacher said draw this, and I draw one stick man. Me have to make sure say the theory part of the art and craft is where it's supposed to be, so that I can maximize my points right there. It's the same thing for the school-based assessment. Students may not be maximizing their points, but the truth is, I wondered why I had to study the color wheel and why I had to mix colors and something here. And I said to myself, I know what I'm going to be when I grow up. Nothing with art and craft is going to be a part of me. And I lied. Because you grow big, you buy one house, or even if you rent a house and you want to paint the walls of the house, you know how to mix your colors. You know how to do the stuff. You know how to do that. You know how to coordinate colors and support and so on. And I'm saying, what a darn good thing that I did this. Right? So I'm seeing the use and the importance of it, right? Because I could not make any connections when I was doing that in real life. No, the other point, the third point that could be made for further research is to see now from the result how it is that teachers teach them class. Are the teachers making connections with their students with mathematics and the real world? So it is that they have a greater appreciation. So one of the things that you could say is that mathematics is being taught in isolation to the real world. That is a powerful statement. Because when students can see how math is connected to the real world, they will understand it more. Me vex with the government. Jamaica government, me vex with them, and I don't care if this recording get to whoever one of them, on the other side or on the next side. Me vex with them. Vex, good, bad. Because they demonetize our 1 cent and our 25 cents and then something. If you go to a supermarket and something come to $25 and 22 cents, the money will take $26. So you're losing. You think they might take $25? No, because when them leave out them cents, at the end of the day, them go short. We can't do that. So if I'm teaching a kindergarten child or a grade 1, 2, 3 child, and I want to go to cents, now I forgot for foreign money. So we can't talk about 1 cent. I can make any amount of sense using foreign money, and it is bad. So when if the government comes to me and says, "Oh, Mr. Sean, as a math educator for so many years," and I'm going to say, "I blame Uno." That's the first statement. I blame Uno. Mr. Sean, why? The reason I blame Uno, we demonetize. We don't know how to make small change. So what that says to me is that students know. When I give students a question, "Sir, am I supposed to use 3 decimal places or 4 decimal places?" Sir, I can't just round up and get a whole number. Because when they go shopping and we teach students how to shop, in Jamaica now what happens is that everything is rounded up because we don't have small change. So that's why when me go a shop or a supermarket, me use 1 card because them not robbing my cents. Every cent make up to $1. You understand? So from the research, for further study, these are some of the things that can come out. So if you can put 1 or 2 of those little things, and you can think about it because you're a math student yourself. We need a longer time to prepare for the exam. There are too many concepts being taught, and in comparison to doing so many other subjects, find something to tell them and them say, "Here the plan. We understand this mathematics business and this SBS something, right? I mean, I'll go through the whole nitty-gritty of it to say, boy, these are some of the possible things that could possibly happen." Why? Because I am in it. I am studying it. I'm the one that is finding out. And then again, no, you can say that, well, then again, no, let's just not even make mention of any pandemic. All right. But am I clear with what it is that I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Is it making any sense? Are you getting any ideas?
Sure.
All right. Good.
So that way I suppose to go in a recommendation.
It could be a part of the recommendation for future work. Yes. Right, because a part of the SB, and I'm going to project that shortly, a part of the SB is going to be suggestion for future work. So you can't just say, "You have nothing." You have to suggest something, man. Suggest something and say the plan. Middle of the study, more expand on the studies even more, right? Because I'm going to expand on this study. Final thing before I move on is at the University of the West Indies. Well, I was a science student, and when we went out into the field to collect data, we had to collect data and do our research, But you see the data we collect, our lecturers took the data. I think it's very dishonest, but anyhow, our lecturers took the data and did their own stuff because the lecturers have to produce a paper. Every calendar year they have to produce a paper, some research, some article, some journal article or something. And that's part of the thing that keeps them employed as a university lecturer. They have to, have publications out there. So when students go out to get the stuff, them collect the data. collect the data. I remember us going into the central inland of Jamaica to collect data in some Woolipa area, riverbed and on the mountain. Koala run me down one day, one Friday night, bathe and feel cute. Now, you know, I say, yeah, man, at boy, their country, at boy, I cool out in the cool air. I felt between my toes something, you know, kind of tickling and almost burning something. And I said, like, sure, keep on. And I said, no, man, what is in my toe? And the lady at the university got to keep for us to stay with her. Said, come here. She said, what am to your toe? She said, give me a foot. I said, no. She said, give me your foot. And I said, what for this woman, man? I'm going to give her my foot. She said to her grandson, go for the cursing out of the matches. We say, you're an idiot. It take me to go sit down and make you take cursing and matches and light my foot. But I'm happy she did. Because I was in the field and had to walk through cow pasture and them something there. I picked up something called, don't quote me, something like silver tick or something of the sort that was burrowing up into between my toes, up into my flesh. She said, youth, if this ever did fully submerge inside of you, you're dead. Me say, burn off the foot, miss. Burn it and take it out. And when she burned the tail of the stuff and pulled out something, that wicked piece of teeth took out about 0.25 ounce of my flesh. I had a gaping hole inside of the stuff. Literally boring in the stuff, right? So, you know, these are some of the things that happens, and, you know, we can, you know, we learn from those experiences. All right, let's go. So we can interpret the data to mean that generally the overall performance in CSEC English A is trending in a positive direction. Yes, ma'am. So what can also happen is that the math teachers, them no need for go to the English classroom to see how teachers teach. Students, what I'm doing is explaining the SBA to you in its entirety so that when you're writing, you can write freely. I have taught so many courses, mathematics courses within a college. I've taught over cosmetology to the point where I know how to process here, because now for sure I have to teach the students how to calculate angles for how to get this bob hairstyle, because when you ladies wear a bob, the bob is actually cut at several angles, at 30, a 45, and a 90, 30, 45, 60, and 90, right? So they have to know what a 35-degree angle, a 30-degree angle looks like, a 45-degree angle looks like, a 60-degree angle looks like, and what a 90-degree angle looks like. Because when they're in the salon, they are cutting at those angles. We learn enough, right? Went over tourism to teach, and I'm saying, okay, the students come and say, sir, you know, we're in the lab the other day, and the teacher asked us to convert something, and sir, how you convert it? Me no know. Me can't come here for teacher, man. So you know what sir had to do? Sir had to go down to Camp Road while I'm not teaching and sit down into the lab. Sit with the teacher, walk up and down in the lab with the students when they're doing the stuff. And I said, okay, so this is what they do, so that I can now relate the mathematics that I'm teaching them to what it is that they're using in their food labs. Because when I go there and I teach standard deviation and I teach conversion, it may be in isolation to what it is that they are learning. I had to make some connections. You see, from I went into that lab one time and I recognized what the students needed to do and how them scale down and scale up their recipe. They said, oh, this will keep a John shop. It's okay, fine. And I went to them and I did my research. And I'm going to tell you, whenever I catch a group of students for that, the food and beverage teacher will come to me and say, Mr. Shan, what are you doing in your math class? I said, why? I've never seen a set of students who come to the lab and I'm going to have to cuss them out. I said, okay. I said, because some years ago I came down here and I went into the lab and I said what was happening. The point I'm making is you have to make connections with what the teachers are teaching so that the math becomes alive for the students, so that they gravitate towards it and they can understand what is happening. All right? So yes, so what could happen is that maybe we need to link now with the English teachers to see what it is that they are doing, so we can copy to see how best we can improve in their math education. So the data collected reveal that there is a moderately positive correlation between the overall performance of males and females in CSEC mathematics. The correlation coefficient of 0.605. 605. Indicates that for the most part, the performance of the males and females follow a similar trend line, which is true. The value 0.065, hold on, 0.065. Okay, this is a 0.065, and this was what again? This was for the general performance. Okay, yeah. So it's what I just did a while ago. So it's when I finish all of this now, instead of me having, it's because I know what my data is, I can now name this as a table, whatever I'm going to put right there. So in this case now, I just put right here, so C table, whatever, so that they can look at it. Now, remember I tell you that for my introduction, I'm going to have, for my table of contents, right, I'm going to have a table of contents. So if them can't find it, then just go and just look at the table of contents, and they can find it, the actual data to correlate it. All right. Indicates that for the most part, I read that. So the value, however, indicates that there are some instances where the females outperformed the males and vice versa. Additionally, this could mean that the overall performance in C-set mathematics is not very good, despite the correlation being positive, which is true. And then no, this is what we did tonight. The combined box and whisker plots for passes in C-set English language between males and females. Since the median Q2 line plots within the boxes suggest that there is a commonality between the two groups. And we made mention of that up top here. Some instances, females outperform the males and vice versa. So there's commonality between the two groups. Q2 for females is 35, is much higher than that of males, 27, for the period under investigation. Concludes that a greater number of females passed the examination compared to their male counterparts. The interquartile ranges of the plot suggest that the data is almost equally dispersed between the passes for males and females for C-Sec English A. From the table, IQR for males is 12 and that for females 15. Both graphs are negatively skewed, and I will talk about that after, since the distance between the minimum value and Q2 is greater than the distance between Q2 and the maximum value. All right, so when we talk about skewness, I know one group pulled me into their conversation and I explained to them. When we're talking about skewness, now if the distance from here so to here, so no, this is, and I want to relate my explanation to the number line. I'm explaining this because you may get it in the exam. I'm using my Q2 as my number line, as my 0 on my number line. Now, if the distance from here, the minimum point, to Q2 is greater than the distance from Q2 to the maximum point, then it is that this is going to be negatively skewed. Sir, how you know? Because the distance from here so to here so is a bigger value, is a bigger negative value, or a bigger negative value. The value here is greater. When I add this value to this value, I'm going to end up with a negative value. So it's going to be negatively skewed. On the other hand, if the distance from here to here is smaller than the distance from here, the Q2, to the maximum value, then it is going to be positively skewed, right? So if from the minimum to Q2 is greater than that of the Q2 to the maximum, it is negatively skewed. Once it's bigger on the left-hand side, left of the Q2 line, remember the Q2 is the median value, you know, the middle number, all right? So once to the left of Q2 is bigger, then it is negatively skewed. To the left of Q2, to the right of Q2 is bigger, then it's going to be positively skewed, all right? So if you look at my data up here, you can see that these two are negative. You can clearly that this is negatively skewed, because from here to here is far greater than from here to here, right? This one is also negatively skewed. When they calculate it, this one is also negatively skewed, but this is a bigger negative, this has a greater skewness of negativity than this one does, all right? When you look at this data here and you calculate these, what do you want me to explain?
Back where you said the male, Yeah.
Talk to me now, Matthew. We have to see which one.
So the top part positive skewed.
This one, negative. Negative. The distance from here, the minimum point to Q2, if it is greater than the distance from Q2 to the maximum point, then it is going to be negatively skewed.
Oh, so the side are greater from the whisker.
From Q2. From Q2. Right, from Q2. Q2 is going to be like your 0 point on your number line. So from your 0 point to here, so if this bigger, it is negatively skewed, because over on the left-hand side of your 0 is negative, and on the right-hand side of 0 is positive. So if to the left of Q2 is bigger, the distance from here so to here so is bigger than that or greater than that from Q2 to the maximum, then it is negatively skewed. Vice versa, it is positively skewed.
Okay, so.
All right, good, Papa. And when you're asking a question, don't get frustrated here. Just ask me so we can explain it. All right, I'm here to explain. Miss is here to explain, and you will understand. You're a bright boy, so you will get it. All right, let's go. So in this particular case now, one looks at it. Let me ask you, do you think the distance from here to here is bigger than the distance from here to here?
No, sir.
No. So I can just eye it and say nope. And even if I eye this one, the distance from here to here is definitely smaller than the distance from the Q2 to the maximum. So this one is positively skewed as well as this one. But this one here has more positive skewness compared to the one in mathematics. All right, so that's how we talk about the skewness of the graph. All right, so now that you know that, you see, we're using the SBA to learn the stuff, you know. The value, however, indicates that there are some instances where the females outperform and vice versa. Additionally, no, let me read that one. I don't necessarily. So it says both graphs are negatively skewed. Talking about English language, both graphs are negatively skewed since the distance between the minimum value and Q2 is greater than that between the Q2 and the maximum value. Interesting to note, however, that females are more negatively skewed compared to their male counterparts. All right. The minimum values of the whiskers are similar to both. However, based on the fact that the top whisker is longer for females compared to males, suggests that females generally outperform their male counterparts, but not significantly higher. So for English language, and it supports the point that we're talking about with our correlation coefficient. Yes, we know that the females outperform the males in English language. However, there is some positive correlation between the performance of males and females in English language, as one of them was 0.9 and the other was 0.827, something like that. See here? So we know that there is a strong positive relationship between the performance of males and females for English language, right? But when we look at the box and whisker, we can clearly see that the females are outperforming. See here? Based on the fact that the top whisker is longer than the that compared to that, females generally outperform their male counterparts, but not significantly higher. And why I'm saying not significantly higher, if you look at the correlation coefficient, 0.970, 0.827, they are strong positive correlation. Let me just tie both of them together and I can say, this supports oh, is that good enough? I'm sorry, forgive me. Last week Friday, where were we? Somebody tell me, where were we last week Friday?
The same place that we are right now.
No, that's not the answer I want. Where were we last week Friday? Somebody tell me.
Having a fit.
Nowhere.
Nowhere. We never did nowhere. We lost. Hey, I'm telling you, and I keep saying to you, this can be done. Look at how God cute. Yeah, look at that. We finished calculation and some serious analysis. No, man, it can be done, man. And we're going to do it. So those of you who may be struggling in your group still, there is hope. Don't give up. We're going to do this. So this supports the value obtained. This supports the values obtained for what was it? A27? A27. All right, so this supposed value is obtained for the correlation of R. Somebody coming out, somebody yard.
Oh my gosh.
You know, outperformed your man's counterpart, but not significantly higher. This supports. COFICIENT. All right. The combined box and whisker plots for the passes in C-set mathematics between males and females since Q2 and line plots outside of the box suggest that there is a difference between the two groups. Q2 for females 24 is much higher than the males 15. For the period under investigation concludes that a greater number of females pass the examination compared to their male counterparts. The interquartile ranges for the plot suggest that the data is almost equally dispersed between the passes for males and females for C-set mathematics. In curious 9 data 15, both graphs are positively skewed since the distance between that and that. Interesting to know that females are more positively skewed compared to male counterparts. By far, the maximum value of the whiskers for females is greater compared to males, suggests that females outperform their male counterparts, but not significantly higher. As in the case when compared to English A. How do you feel about that? Does that make any sense? Does that all support the data that we have? Because we all have the same data. Do you see think that I'm going to send this off to you now, so you don't have to worry that you're not going to remember what it is that I read. Do you see where our calculations and our plots are coming to play in all of this?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do for me, I'm just going to do one other thing tonight, and do some housekeeping. And I need to fix up this. I just want to. Maybe I can do that a little later on. Maybe I can do that a little later on. Just fix up the table numbers, so that when we go through again, we just have everything crystal clear. All right. So what you're going to do for me, I have shown you how it is that I use our calculations to analyze and interpret the data. I've shown you how it is that we use box and whisker to analyze and interpret the data. It's because we have so many people in the group, we have to justify it by not just using two means, box and whisker and calculations. We're going to use two other methods. Either we're going to use pie chart, stem and leaf, or we're going to use stem and leaf bar graph, histogram, bar graph. We need two more sets of graphs. I want each of us to use 4 sets. If you feel generous, I want to put a 51, not a problem. But I want you to do 2 more for me in your groups between now and the weekend, and I want you to listen to me carefully, students. I beg of you. You have been very good students since last week Friday. Last week Friday this time, oh yes, about 7:10 I got stable internet access, right? We were still in class. And for 1 week now, we have gotten to, I would say, 75% of the SPA, because this is where the marks line up, the analysis and interpretation of the data, right? We can conclude, we're going to make recommendations for future work. We're going to talk about our limitation. Remember, I said to you that one of the limitations is that the sample size of our data collection could be larger, because for the most part, we're using seven years. We could use a greater number of years. We could maybe use 15 years, many more years for pre-SBA. So that's one of the limitations to the research, all right? You can find other limitations, but I think everybody should have that limitation for the research. We're going to contest that, yeah, we could have used more data, all right? So I really want you guys to work with this deadline that I'm going to be giving you. I know, and I don't want to call group names, but I know there are persons who have touched base with me, have touched base with Mrs. Henningham, because you're having group meetings. I know that there are group meetings that are being held. I went into 1 or 2 groups and I see graphs and I see things, them projecting at that. Lord, them students are in business, right? For those groups that are not moving, wake up. Wake up. I have seen some of the SBAs as a first draft that is sent off to me, where you have your plots, but your plots did not have your explanations. You cannot just put graphs in there. Graphs alone now help me. The examining body want to know, say, you plot a graph and you can interpret what the graph is saying. All right? So your homework is to have done 2 of the stuff for you. I want you to do 2 more. If you feel generous, you can put a 3rd one in there and do 5. But if not, I want you to do 2 more. All right? Mrs. Henningham, I'm just thinking now that that group with the additional student, they may need to do an extra explanation to increase the difficulty level of the stuff, since they have more people in that group. But anyhow, so you need to do the analysis, insert it into your document, and I want to talk to you about something. I want to get the completed draft of the SBA over this weekend. Sir, I'm not going to finish. Give me something over this weekend. Let me start mark. I can tell you why. If you're mark on group 1, as a group 1, you have 39 out of 50. You all right with it? No, sir. All right. This is what you need to do. That is what you need to do, because I'll make comments on the SBA. This is not explained properly. You need more information support, and I'll make it, and you're going to go back and you're going to improve on it. Now, let me tell you what is happening. Because of the extension of the stuff, we have a couple of days. I'm going to need time to mark. This week was rough for me, right? I know Johnny wanted to say something to me, and every time Johnny touched base with me, I'm in a class. I still do teach, and I still have my exec and board meetings every week. All right, but so I need time to mark. There are 4 groups, and I can say, okay, I'm going to mark group 1 today. So it may take me 4 days to mark it may take me 4 days to finish marking of the SBAs based on the activities that I have to do in a day. I want to do it so that I can give it back, so that people can improve on it. You know, sometimes when you have Mrs. Thomas SBA and you wait until the day before the stuff, and all she can do is just mark and put 3 out of 5, because she don't have enough time to call you back to come and make the adjustments to the stuff. I don't want that to happen to the mark. All right? I want to put give all of you an equally fair opportunity in doing very well. It's a nice SBA. You know, it's a very nice SBA, and within a week we're able to do this stuff. Very, very nice. Very nice. All right. So my final thing. So remember now, you're going to be doing 2 more of the stuff. So it is that you can go ahead and save, Mr. Shan, save. And then now mercy. Oh yes, I think I have it. I think I have it. I think I have it. Yes, thank you, Lord. And then now we need to finally, before I give you time off on your own, you may want to go sleep or you may want to continue with your discussion. Just reminding you that the SB is 20% of your final grade. Oh crap. I say I wanted to talk to you about something, you know. I don't want to put it over the recording because these things happen. Let me send it in the group now, and I want people to answer me. Very important. I know other places are utilizing resources. I want to give you an equal opportunity as well. Okay, thank you, Miss. I just seen your message. Just answer yes or no, please. Oh, sorry, I don't know why it's not going through. Oh, I know why it's not going through. Because I sent a message to somebody else. Oh my Lord. You're a very sensitive teacher. Just answer yes or no, please. Why?
Anyways, no, sir.
You saw the message?
Yes, sir.
All right. If you know of any of your friends that do, just say please and thanks and try and get a copy.
Okay.
Right. So the MCQs account for 30% of the final grade, and the multiple choice is 20%, and the structured is 50%. So we're trying to maximize everywhere, right? So if I can do that, I can do what it is that I can do. So this is 20%. All right. All right. So I need to change the title. I've modified the project, so the title needs to. All right. So let's go again. I'm going to modify the title. We're going to all use the same title because our calculations are pretty much the same. We're looking at the same thing as a class. So we'll have those 2 marks. The rationale. So the introduction is going to be the rationale for the project. Rationale for the project is logical. So the rationale could be, for many years, the pass rate for CSET mathematics and English in at accessible community colleges and at Accessible Community College in Jamaica and regionally is low. And wanna have interest in trying to find out if there's any correlation between the performance of males and females, because that's going to be your topic, to find if there's any correlation between the performance of males and females, and also to see if there is any significant difference between the performance of males and females, pre-SBA, post-SBA, right? 2 marks. Problems, objectives are clearly stated. What's the problem? You know the problem is the poor performance of students, and how it is that we can possibly improve those performances, right? Summary of research methodology. How it is, what the research methodology is, all right? What is the method of your research? So it's a summary of the research methodology. And also for the introduction, as I said before, you are going to include as your opening statement, succinctly to the major findings that you may feel from your research. There 6 marks. So let us organize our stuff in such a way so we can get our 6 marks. The research methodology is all of 8 marks. 8 and 19 marks for the methodology. The research method, the design, the experimental stuff, you know what the research method is, right? You can know the design of the stuff. The data was collected from our assessment services unit. Data was compiled, placed in a table. Mathematical calculations were performed. Graphs were plotted. Several graphs were plotted. You can tell how much graph depending on what it is that you do. You can name the graphs that you use that were plotted, and then analysis of the data was done. All right. That's that part. Here, the limitation of the research. Why talking through to know, or should I use plenty more pre-data, since the post data is really limited. Sorry, should I use more of the other data, but the data wasn't accessible at the point when the assessment services unit was contacted. All right, so that is that. The description of our sampling process. Target population, C6 students over a 10-year period, whatever it is. Specification of sampling frame, otherwise justify. We never sample anything at all. We just use the data as it came by. You can talk about that. Description of sample selection methodology. We need perjury information. We just select. Mark you. You need to make mention that there are 3 years of data that was missing. So it's over a 10-year period that we're looking, but it's only 7 years we have because 2013, 2015, and I think 2018 data were missing. So you can, in your own words, you understand what you're talking about. The sampling process, you wanted to do over a 10-year period, however, 3 years were missing, data could not be sourced, whatever else the situation, you know what it is. Instrument design, selection of instrument, questionnaires, we never use questionnaires. Interviews, we never use interviews. Case studies, we never use case study. Test measures, observation scales is justified in the compartment. We never use none of them. So the selection of the instrument. So we use a calculations method. All right. So you're going to talk about the design. A calculations method was used. Something just came to mind. Something just came to mind, students. Something just came to mind as I read this. The design that maybe we could have. No, you could put. If you're in contact, you don't have to, but something, let me just think about it one moment. Give me a minute, please. Yeah, if you could maybe, not me, of course, and not Mrs. Henningham, but if you could maybe touch base, and not Mr. Russell, if you could touch base with maybe 1 or 2 lecturers, math teachers, to find out what could be some of the probable causes of poor performance in CSET mathematics, and you do the same for English teachers, so that it helps in your study. It's not that we're going to do a question here, because we're not going to be using SPSS to analyze. All right, hold on. Hold that thought. I'll come in. Let me just look at the other things. Yes, please.
At this point in time, you can use references to say what are the causes or the reasons for poor performance in these subjects, because you can find literatures out there that speaks.
And thank you for that, because it's what that says to me is that you are where I'm going. You see where I'm going. So so instead of maybe speaking to your lecturers, you could look to see online possible causes of poor performance in CSET mathematics and English, and just pull out one or two according to Henningham 2019, bam bam bam, according to Shand 2022, you know, rate 80 support and so on. I can find a few references just to help to beef up what it is that you are suggesting, or what it is that the research is coming out. So yes, I can look to see if I see a pool of them and I can throw it out and you guys can use whichever ones you want to use. Or I can say, okay, group 1 use these two, group 2 use these two, support and so on. So Mrs. Henningham, see if you can just make a notation for that, please. If we could find, say, 2 of each. So we're gonna need, if you find 2, 2, 4 is 8, we're gonna need 8 of each. So we can just give each group 2, or if you can find of your own, not a problem. But we can see if we can find some quotations so we can give them to do that. Instrument has relevant items which are clearly articulated logical outline. Okay, fine. Data management, data collection process is adequately described. All right, cool. Yeah, that's the data management. Data coding techniques, example, transferring responses into numbers are appropriate and clearly explained. Data entry recording methods clearly described. You know, one of the things that you could do is, because you have so many members and you want to justify the use of the members in the group, you could say that the data collected from the ASU, the Assessment Services Unit, was transcribed and was cross-referenced by other group members to ensure that I'm very sorry, talking too much, that the information was cross-referenced to ensure accuracy in reporting the data, right? So something like this, now data coding techniques, something, you you can data entry recording method clearly described. You can describe how all of that was done. Data security, clearly described. Of course, this is pass rate for students, so you're not going to be, broadcasting this, the information, although when it gets out there, it's going to become public. But you have to organize. Not organize. I'm reading the other stuff. You have to secure your data. And then organization of the data, frequency tables, concise discussion on the data extraction procedures from raw data into tabular forms, and inclusion of all tables in the report. Adequate, okay, so if you have all of this, you get the 2 marks. Presentation and findings. Display the results, example, bar graph, pie chart, stem and leaf, box and whisker plot. A variety of tables, graphs, and figures are appropriately used according to the data type and portray the accuracy, data accurately and clearly. I am seeing where all of you will get the 6 marks for this. All right. And then no, where's the other 6 marks? No. Other 6 marks come description of tables, charts, and figures. Excellent description of the tables, graphs, and figures. So you see what I'm talking about? You can't just put the graph, and I won't call which group, but you can't just put a graph into something and then call it SBA done. Limited description of the tables and graphs and figures. A 1 mark or 2 marks. I'm sure if we give you 2 marks, say, you can give you 1 mark. You can't just put it something there and don't. It's a 6. 6 is a maximum mark. So you put your information in there. You have to explain what the tables are. All right. And then now the analysis of findings is another 15 marks. This is what? Presentation of the findings. Oh, this is a presentation of the stuff. You get 12 marks. The analysis is 16 marks. Measures of central tendency, measures of variability, measures of relationships, correlation, regression, measures of relative position, percentile, z-score, t-score. The percentiles will come if you use the pie chart. We use this. Variability, measures of variability, that could come from the box and whiskers, you know. Measures of central tendency. One group went, as I said before, one group went ahead and did variance and standard deviation. That group can keep their variance and standard deviation, you know, because that's another method that we use for the analysis of the data. So you have that bit of information. Let's see what will happen now, because we could just include that and maybe write a sentence or two on that. Okay. An accurate discussion which includes calculations and meaningful comparison of the findings using at least 3 of the statistical technique. It says at least 3, so it's 3 or more. So far, 2 we have: box and whisker and correlation, correlation regression. All right. So it says an accurate discussion which includes all of that, you get the 3 marks. If it's satisfactory, you get only 2. If the discussion is very sparse, you get only 1. You can pick up the 3 marks right here, so guys. So you see what some of them you will use? We can't pick up the 3 marks here. I'm seeing where we can get the 3 marks there. It says more than 75% of the calculations are accurate. You get the 2 marks, because we know it's accurate. You can double check it nonetheless. You have the data already. I'm going to ask that you go ahead and double check the data at some point in time. You could have different group members. You can have a group member who is very good with the calculation to just double check to make sure that the information is correct. So you can pick up the other 2 marks. So watch me. You pick up 3 marks here, pick up 2 marks there. Interpretation of the results. Error. An excellent interpretation. You can pick up the 4 marks here. 4 and 3, 7, 8, 9. Recommendations of future development. I've gone through the whole list a while ago. 9, 10, 11. Conclusion is comprehensive, reflects the hypothesis, objectives, and is supported by the data. Conclusion is accurate. We're going 11. Depending on what you put for the conclusion here. If it's only very limited, 12. If it's full, you can get the full 4 marks. So the analysis and findings looking good so far. Overall presentation of the thing. So it has to be very neat. So if you look at my SBA, you see how I arrange them and put them in sequence and everything. So the overall presentation of your SBA has to be very neat, right? Somebody who has OCD like me should be responsible to put the data together, the information together in a logical way. You're supposed to be able to pick up your 4 marks here. Your references and bibliography. Now, your references, you see what Miss just talked about a while ago? It's going to be very important. Right, we're going to help you to find some stuff. So we now need to say, according to Henningham, math teachers should start be using manipulatives in the classroom to help concretize mathematical concepts. So that's so nice. That sounds very learned. Yes, because of them data they put this up. So you get something like that and figure into your report as one of the recommendations. And there's something you say, you know, justifying your analysis and interpretation of the data. This calculation supports a point from Henningham 2021 when she advocates for mathematics classroom teachers to rate ATA support and so on. You get your references, you pick up your 2 marks, right? So what I'm seeing here, we can get easy 4 with easy 2. So we get 12 and 2, that's 14. That's 18 marks so far. If we don't get all of that, we get 18 marks so far. Description of tables and chart, we can get the 6 marks, and 18 and 6, that's 24. 24 and 6, that's 30. We're supposed to can get, we have all of this already, but you need to put some others in there. 30. Organization of the data, frequency table support, and so on. 32. Depending on what it is that you do right here, if you get, say you don't beat, so when you get that, 33. Sampling process, research method 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 for stuff, and 39 and 6, that's 45. So as it is just now, I can count about 45 marks out of the 50 marks that you have, because I've gone through what it is that I'm expecting of you. So do me a favor. We're going to end here. Please use this guide to now put your information together. The maximum point is your methodology for the research and your interpretation of the data at 15 marks, 19 marks. Presentation of the findings, sorry, is 12. No, presentation of the findings is 12 marks, and then the analysis of findings. So I would combine this one and this one as 27 marks, because usually you have to present your data, and our data is presented logically, so we should be able to pick up those 12 marks. And then the analysis of the findings. So remember, you are going to be required to do 2 analyses of your own at least. I would want you to do something so that over the weekend, the latest Monday morning, no. Yeah, say you want to work late into Saturday, Sunday night into Monday morning. The latest Monday morning, I should receive my drafts, my 4 drafts of the SBA, so that I can set aside some time, I can go through, I can mark, and then when we come to class, God's willing, the supposed date of your exam, we can talk about things. Well, no, Monday I have to teach something. We're not going to waste 3 weeks. But this is important. So we can, feedback. I can give you an hour and a half in your group now to go and make the adjustments. So I know I'm going to be under pressure come Monday. Give you make adjustments in the stuff. Then you can present it to me maybe a day, no more than 2 days later from Monday, so that I can remark, and then we can agree. All right, group 1, you have 45 out of the 50. You want to go do something more to kind of see if you can get more points, and you may say, sir, here's the plan. We will hold the 45. No, sir, we want the full mark, and you take it back and go do what it is that you need to do. So this is the extension by which I will go just to help you. You have a beautiful SBA ahead of you. Please to understand it and appreciate it. I don't want you to just contribute something just to get a mark. And finally, I have a way to mark my SBAs. So not because you're in a group and the group gets 90%, it means that you have 90%. My group members will be interviewed independent of every other group member. And my group member will score what percentage of work each group member has contributed. And on that basis, you will be awarded your mark. Why am I saying this? I don't want any leeches in the SBA group. Everybody's supposed to be pulling their weight. It's crunch time. We started late. We never have enough time. But within a week, well, less than a week, because we had this information from before. I sent you the analysis business. Was it yesterday or the day before? One time, right? So, say within a week, we've gone very far. And over this weekend, I'm expecting you to just finish up this up. The greater portion now is for you to write, because I've done the majority of it, 75% of it. The greater portion now is for you to write. When I say the majority of it, the 27, 15 and 15 and 12, 27, the title 29, and this 4 marks on here. So presentation 33, 34, 35. So 70% of the work. So 35 out of 50, 70. So 70% of the work is done. I'm only asking you to sit down now as a group and do the other 30%. I can see clearly you guys getting 35 out of the 50 already. Please just sit and work together and do what it is that you need to do, and we should be good to go. Are there any questions?
No, sir.
And if not, I'm going to ask Mrs. Henningham to just pray for me. In everything we need to give thanks, as the scripture says. And we need to be thankful to God for not only, I mean, last week this time, you saw how agitated I got when people started putting those emojis, and I said, oh, it's not the time for it, because I was really in serious mode, serious mode, because I recognized what was ahead of us. I went to God and I said, God, you know, it's unfair. Give me the strength to just go through and just do what we need to do. And He has come through, and I think we need to pause to just say thank you. And in the prayer, I'm just going to ask her to cover them and just ask for the Lord to just multiply the information that they have, so it is that we may do well, you know, in these exams coming up 3 weeks later. Thank you, Miss. Miss, you want to sleep?
Sir, if I tell you that I'm here thinking that yes, you're praying, I said, okay, fine.
No, I'm asking you to do it for me. All right, thank you, Miss.
Oh my gosh, no. That is not the prayer. I'll pray for you. And the class on a whole. I'm just here thinking to say that we have reached a far way. And as a team, we have worked together. We have seen the efforts of not just the students, but the students and the teachers, right? I'm just thanking God for the team, for the persons in the team, for you, Mr. Shand. And I'm sending you the students off to accomplish what efforts you have put in and what God designed for you to achieve. So with that said, I'm gonna say amen to all of that.
Amen. Amen. All right, thank you, Miss. Guys, remember to say your gentle Jesus as you go. And if it is that you have enough energy, see how much more work you can put into this. This is going to mean you very good in the long run. Thank you for coming out, and we will see each other soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sarah, we'll have class tomorrow.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.